Alright. Got a couple of things I'd like to say. Uh, been a minute since I did a channel and life update. It's been an interesting time since then. Uh, got a lot of things to say and a lot of things to update. If you know, you know. First and foremost, I did another update about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago at this point actually. It was not my best moment. You know, everybody gets a little emotional, a little heated. I definitely am no excuse to this rule. Um, and before I spoke, I didn't actually, think my words through. I didn't digest what I was feeling, and it all just came out as a jumbled mess. And when people called me on how it didn't make sense, things didn't add up. I didn't have an answer because I also didn't know why certain things didn't make sense. But yeah, I have since then digested everything, and I feel a lot better about life. Still have a little bit of mending and bridge rebuilding to do, at least where I want to, anyways. First and foremost, I'm going to apologize to the mistress, my missus. You know, there were a lot of things that I said that straight up factually weren't true, and even if they were slightly true, I could have gone about it a much better way. I also love to preach that I don't, speak about a lot of shit in public, and here I am, speaking about shit in public. So, just a lot of shit that just didn't make sense, didn't add up. Sorry if anything that I said, offended you, or, things like that. To the people in Discord, half of what I said is true, half of it isn't. I do think on an individual level, a lot of you are fine. A lot of you, mind your own business. You come on the calls and, you have a good time. Not a whole lot of drama with you. That or you're busy doing, IRL life stuff. And you know what? That's fine. Perfectly, okay. But there has been a lot of drama in that Discord throughout the past. And like I said, my introduction to that Discord was fixing drama, and it hasn't gotten any better. There's still dogpiling. There's a certain level of gatekeeping. There's a certain level of, my opinion is right, yours is wrong. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I, have to be the peacekeeper and calm people over, and it hasn't changed despite us all being, at this point, damn near 10 years older. So I left because I was getting sick and tired of the drama that I've been mending since literally day one. Um, as well as it was just not very active. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've joined a server with everyone that was in the previous one in it, except for like 5 people. And it's cool for like 2 weeks, and then it gets quiet because everyone has life stuff. I don't always have time to be on there as well with everybody. I miss out on a lot of my duties as, the peacekeeper. But as unfortunately, that's just life. People get caught up in their own stuff. But I think a lot of you can do well on your own as individuals. I think as a group, there's way too many personalities that are not under a common goal, because there is no common goal. It's meant to be a family, and family needs some kind of direction to go. And we haven't had a quote unquote direction or a common enemy in a very long time, and it shows. Um, but anyways, y'all will have your opinions about me and everything that's happened recently. You're allowed to have them. I'm not gonna tell you not to have them. Um, yeah, I mean, none of you have attempted to contact. Well, except for one person. I mean, one person has attempted to contact me and talk to me about shit. So I mean, respect to them for, saying what they needed to say, but everyone else, I guess there wasn't much to be said. Outside of that, let's get towards YouTube stuff. So, Today is the 8th of December. I have scheduled uploads all the way until December 31st. Big problem, because obviously now if I have to upload something in between then, it has to go on an awkward day, it's not in the normal routine, this, that, and third. This is going to get uploaded on fucking Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when I decide to throw it up. So yeah, lovely times. um, oh, my neck. Oh. Yeah, I mean, and the videos weren't edited very well, and there's a reason for that. One, there was like a solid week and a half period where I was just unable to record, I was unable to edit, I was unable to do literally anything with the channel. Thankfully, I had stuff, scheduled out in advance. It allowed me to have that time, but it also kind of put me in a mental position where I felt like there was a lot of pressure to get a lot done very quickly, and I just kind of started uploading stuff. It didn't help that a lot of the stuff is unorganized because whenever I record, either on the PlayStation or with the Facecam, it doesn't get a specific file name until I put one in there. And sometimes I'm recording like two or three things back to back to back to back, and then oh shit, it's 9:30. I gotta go to bed for work in the morning, and there just ends up being a bunch of files that are unnamed, and I can't really, put them together properly. So I was sifting through stuff, trying to find face cams that go to gameplay videos. I think there might, I'm fairly certain there's still a video out there where like it's me recorded, and either I forgot to turn the face cam on or I just straight up lost the face cam footage. I have no idea what happened to that video. That's just how fast everything was going up at a certain point. But yeah, after the 31st, I should be able to get a more, I guess, normal upload. Like, I should be able to get my normal standards of uploading back in order. Like, I should be able to have edits. I should be able to, have little everything that I normally do. I also have realized there's some editing things that I should have done, but I didn't do. That'll be improved. It's a learning curve with me. I gotta smack my forehead off the ceiling in order to realize, oh shit, I got a duck here. So yeah, that's lovely. That's the YouTube thing and how that's going. Speaking of, we are going into the new year, which means I need to talk about my personal goals, about what I did, what I didn't do, what I still need to do, and what's happening next year. So let's start out with goals that I set out this year. I said, well, this is for next year, but next year I said I wanted a proper computer. That's going to happen around March 2026. Knowing what I know, I think I can make that happen. We'll see. Start college courses, I did that. That again, that one wasn't really on me. That was on whenever the job could, actually get me signed up properly. Thumbnails, I wanted that by the end of 2025. You guys got that. They're basic thumbnails, or thumbnails that go across the entirety of, that game. It's only a one thumbnail thing, but we'll see if I improve thumbnails in the future. I don't think I have the time or the creativity. Well, not creativity. I could definitely think of different thumbnail concepts. It's a matter of I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to, slap images together. I don't have avatars like how some YouTubers have, so it would be weird trying to have, custom thumbnails for every video. But that's something for the future. Better editing. It's been a curve. It's at moments it peaks, and at other times it's in a valley. And right now we're in a valley because I was cleaning out the cache, and I was, trying to just pump out a bunch of shit that I had saved up from ages and ages and ages ago that I just never got around to. That should hopefully never happen again. We'll see, because college is going to get more intense, because now they're not just online classes, they're going to be in-person classes too. We'll see how that goes. What else? I wanted a book edited by the end of next year. That's a long ways away. 2027, 2027, 28, 29. Finish a book by this year. So, writing has, been on the back end for a good hot minute as I'm rolling through my own mistakes and YouTube and job. Work has been a pain in the ass this last month. Like the entire month of November, I was running nines instead of eights. So I had like 5 hours of overtime just in the week alone. And then the job still needed me to work Saturdays. So like there was like a whole like all of last month November, I basically was working an extra 10 hours of OT. It was crazy as fuck, and we're only just now, December 8th, getting close to the end of the project that had us running that fucking fast. So that's I don't even know how to fucking articulate that. Um, so finishing a book by the end of this year, if I were to try to finish a book now, it would probably be very, very, very rushed. I don't want to put that kind of shit, out there. Maybe I can do it over Christmas break and New Year's break, but that again, that's still a very tight timeline. Yes, I'll have the entire day to work, but it's gonna be interesting. Uh, and then more books and more audiobooks and stuff like that. I think I mentioned this in the last one that got deleted because so much was happening. I started boxing, and that was fun. That was a cool little adventure, and it made me realize two things. One, I'm not 18 anymore, and I know that's crazy to say as a 23-year-old. When I say I'm not 18 anymore, that means I'm not in the same body I was before the military. Obviously, the military, does a lot of damage to your joints. Specifically for me, it's lower back and knees. And that entire week that I was there, I felt them. Like there were times when it was okay. There were times where it was absolutely god awful. The other thing that I realized is, well, actually three things that I realized. The other thing that I realized is that my favorite recreational activity that's probably taken years off of my life every day, smoking. Smoking made, the boxing thing pretty damn difficult the first few days, because my lungs weren't used to, breathing excessive amounts of oxygen. Haven't been for a while. And then that leads me directly into the third thing that I realized, which is despite the back pain and despite the smoking lungs, if I quit smoking, that dog is still in there. Like, I probably should have turned my light on before I started recording, but what the fuck can you do? It just shows like I'm moving and moving, and I literally just got home, took out the dogs, took a shower, put my hair in a bun, and then I sat down, started recording. Just it's one bullet after the other. There's not a chance to slow down. There really, really isn't. Where was that at, right? Back in the day, I used to be able to run like nonstop. I can't run at the same speed I can because I'm like 60 pounds heavier than what I was in high school. But then again, I shouldn't have been the weight that I was in high school. So I can't run as fast, but I still kind of have the endurance. So that was interesting to learn. I realized that a lot of the body aches that I was having kind of stopped when I quit smoking. Um, so it was a really interesting experiment. It showed that I myself am not necessarily unhealthy. I just have a really unhealthy habit. I say with a bottle of liquor behind me. But what can you do? Like everybody has their demons. Everybody has their battles they have to fight. Um, do I want to quit these bad habits? Smoking, yes. At this point, it really doesn't do anything for me. The only thing is like I spent money on the fucking bottles of juice, so I'm gonna get rid of them. So, yeah, there's that. Am I planning on going back into boxing? I would love to say yes, but then again, I have to pay for the membership. I still have to pay for everything else that I have to pay for in my life. I'm hoping on getting an apartment sooner than 2027, which is what I had originally scheduled. So that's one, and I still have college that I have to go to, and this, that, and the third. So it's one of those things where if I were to do it, it would actually be in the way of shit that I think is actually more important. Like, yes, being physically fit and this, that, and the third is, cool and all, but it's not a top priority on my priorities list. Maybe it will be one day when the schedule clears up. I did actually, want to, box and like actually like have a name and a record and everything. And I was talking about it with my coaches at the gym and everything. But then, college kicked in. I had a lot less time. Work started running me overtime, and I literally didn't have enough time to drive from work home. Fucking, well, I wouldn't need to shower, but I didn't have time to drive home from work, change, take out the dog, and then head back out. It would literally be impossible with the way these roads are right now. So, yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. Do I want to go back? Kinda. But I'm not going to let it, take over the more important stuff like how I did before. It was something that I always wanted to do, and I sacrificed a lot to even attempt to do it. I'm not going to let that happen again. Boxing is not that important, and being physically fit is also not the most important thing in the world outside of. Let me rephrase that. Doing extra stuff to be physically fit is not the most important thing ever because I get a pretty decent fucking workout at work lifting up heavy metal parts and like this, that, and the third, which is why my fucking shoulders and biceps kind of look the way they do, is because I'm constantly lifting shit all fucking day. If I'm not lifting shit, I'm manually controlling a fucking panel way off up in here, and it's still working something at the end of the day. So, yeah, I mean, that's life, that's the channel. The other thing is that as we go into 2025, I do have big ambitions for the channel. I would love to go into 2025 and be like, oh, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let's do a fundraiser or, like a charity thing, for breast cancer. But I obviously don't have the follower count for that. I would love to do big stuff like that, but, kind of limited by where I am at the moment as a YouTuber. So, maybe that's something for the future. One thing that I was thinking about doing is obviously as a male, talking about men's issues during Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm a veteran, so I thought about doing stuff on, like the 4th of July, Veterans Day, things of that nature. Um, and like other important months, like maybe just do something, cool for Valentine's Day. I don't know exactly what I plan on doing, but it's probably more or less gonna be kind of like what's going on with the Mountain Blade stuff right now, where I have voiceovers. Probably just gonna do a voiceover or talk about stuff. Food for thought. Um, and kind of discussing the world around us at the moment because it's getting pretty fucking crazy out here. It really, really is. I really should have turned my goddamn light on. I am black as shit right now with how dark it's getting because the sun's going down. So I'll wrap this up quickly. Um, but I do have plans, and as I look forward in the calendar, I do a little research like what is this month, what is this month, what is this month. If it's something that I feel like talking on, or I feel like it's in opportunity to talk about something important, I will. So, that being said, this has been the Storyteller. Thank you for coming for my TED Talk. Channel and life update, you know how it is. It's exactly like the last one. It's not going to have anything in the background. It's not, well, the first one had shit in the background. But, it's going to be raw. It's going to be straight up. It's going to be me sitting down and talking to you. I don't want you, distracted by something in the background. I actually want you to sit here and listen if you have the, desire to listen, because this is important stuff. This is not how I'm making my living, but this is how I'm making my name. So, like, everybody does something in life, and, sometimes it gets you famous, sometimes it's, just respectable to your community, and then other times it's something that, like, nobody really notices because it's not that public of a thing. This is my way, personally, of being different. This is my way of sharing my passion and hobby. This is always something that I love doing, and I love to play video games, and it's not that difficult to, sit down and press the record button right before I start playing a game. Right? Just kind of, makes sense. It's something fun. And again, it's a memory vault. I would love nothing more than to, be 60 or 70 talking about fucking Monster Hunter Wilds and, 2K26 when back up then we're probably going to be like 2K70 something at that point. The whole world's going to look different, but we're going to have essentially a time vault of games and experiences and other things like that from way back when. So I think that's going to be really cool. I honestly like to do that sometimes. I like to go back in time and watch other people's videos from like 10 years ago, and the shit they're talking about is so different from the shit now. And it's kind of fun to, go back to those simpler times. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. This has been The Storyteller. I post every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, potentially Saturdays. There's going to be a couple of weird uploads mixed in the middle here, just because, the entire month of December is already filled with the regular schedule, and I need to fit stuff in. And I'm not going to allow myself to be pushed and fucking have to reorganize everything for, one video. So, yeah. Leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. Stay tuned for more updates. I will be posting on both my Insta and my actual YouTube posts on anything that I have planned for the coming months and the coming year. And, yeah. Bye-bye.